Amen.
And good morning to you. Merry Christmas. Oh, wait a minute. It's not Christmas. It's St. Patrick's Day. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
It's St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I don't have on green because I wasted that shirt yesterday because I wasn't thinking.
I do, but I will not be able to.
I don't even, not even there.
Incredible.
I don't even have to. Let's see.
All right.
No, don't have any green on my socks.
Yeah.
So that's okay. I'll go ahead and throw a happy birthday out there to my son, Wesley. Wesley turns 34 today.
Oh, happy birthday,
God,
Big
I'm
Wes.
old.
Mm.
And my daughter, my oldest, she'll turn 38. 38 this summer. God, I'm old. And a very special birthday to a very dear friend and a very loyal listener, Miss Kay.
Miss Kay.
Miss Kay
Happy
Wilson
birthday.
has a birthday day. Happy birthday to you, Miss Kay.
Wonderful.
Hope you have a wonderful day. Glad to have everybody with us this morning. NCAA tournament in real fashion gets underway tonight.
Man.
Well, today at noon.
You didn't see, obviously, in the bed, the Rutgers game?
No.
God, it was great.
That was them in Notre Dame, right?
Yes. 2 overtime. Man, it was great. Great stuff.
Here's
3 overtime, 2 or 3.
here's another thing that I thought was kind of interesting. On the NCAA tournament, and you'll remember this, I know, we did. I can remember when I was in school, there was a TV in every classroom watching the ACC tournament and the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, you started watching that. I mean, It doesn't happen now, I guess, because everybody's got their phones and stuff. But,
Right.
I mean, I see some memory postings, I guess you'd call it, on Facebook about it, and
Absolutely.
I'm like, that's sad that it's just a memory because that was real. That was good back in the day. Morning, Richie. Morning, Mark Alton. Mark says, I'm green with envy that you get to sit with 4 members. Isn't that nice? Pastor Andy, good morning. Mark wished Miss Kay a happy birthday and said she's awesome, and she is. I get my message from her every day. When we went to Gatlinburg, she said, I won't bother you while you're on vacation. I said, I am up every morning. You post away, and I will respond.
Never a bother. It's wonderful. Look forward to it.
Richie said, did you see where the Xavier coach was let go yesterday after winning the first round of the NIT? I did not see that. I don't understand that. Why can't you wait just a couple more days? I don't understand why that has to be done at that moment. And, of course, we're all still waiting on the Deshaun Watson thing. Von Miller's going to Buffalo on a 6-year deal.
How about that?
Freddie Freeman's going to the Dodgers.
Yes.
On a 6-year deal.
I mean, can I just kind of
Help yourself
on Freddie?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of criticism, and people have the right to say, and about whatever it is that they feel about things. But I think being informed on the process is incredibly important before they start casting lightning bolts at a guy like Freddie. On one post last night, and this is a baseball guy that I coached against that, of course, is now an adult, and he was a great player, and he's a great guy. But he talked about how greedy do you have to be? They're going to give you this much money. That's not what he wasn't looking for the amount of money only. He was looking for the years.
What have I told you? I don't work for money.
But
I can make money. When I work, I've got to have the other part.
Right.
Same thing with him,
Yes.
and I get that. And at the same time, I understand the Atlanta's making a business decision.
They are.
But so was Freddie Freeman. And I have no problem with him saying, no, I'll go somewhere else and play.
And it wasn't about greed. They were not able to come to, an understanding, of what – and in the end, Freddie, the world theoretically is an open and free market, okay? And people say, well, that's just too much money. There's a couple of things that are very important. We are all paid, okay, on the value that we bring and on the ability for someone to replace us, to bring that value. It doesn't matter what you do. And Freddie, if $27 million or 26 or 38 or 12 million is what, there's a reason that he has offered that money. It's his ability to do things and the inability to be replaced. Okay.
And he got a 6-year, $160 million deal.
I just, yeah, I would just, I'm not frustrated. I just feel like that, it's very unfair, at times, and the world's unfair, but especially for a guy like him that's been through so much and done so much and done it the right way. To be I mean, it just goes to show you that no good deed goes unpunished, and that
you're worth what somebody will pay you,
right? And then the ability to replace you. That's how they come down to what you get paid for what you do, whether it's for you get paid for your time or your expertise, or your production.
Now, Freddie is 4 years older, if I'm not mistaken, 4 years older than Olson. I believe that's right. Freddie wanted a 6. Olson got an 8.
Right.
So Olson's still going to be younger than what Freddie would have been on a 6-year deal or even some of the other deals. But the thing about it, what you have to understand is the Atlanta Braves are a business. Freddie Freeman is a business. He's looking out for his family, his future, all those things. I've looked at, there are other jobs that I could have taken over the years and made a little more money, but it wasn't worth giving up the intangibles that I had. Now, if the money got to giggle money, like some of these players in their contract, I'll go do anything for a little while because of where it's going to position me to make a different decision.
Short term for the long term.
That's correct.
Yeah, no, I get it.
And the same thing. But, I think all baseball salaries are high. I think all professional salaries are high when it comes down to it. But I don't single out Freddie Freeman because Freddie's got to look out for Freddie because nobody else is going to.
Yeah, and that's right. And
and he gave the Braves an offer of first refusal.
And it's
all he's obligated to.
Absolutely, and not because he felt like he had to do it, because he wanted to do that. And I get the thing about salaries being high, but again, in the marketplace, whether it be professional baseball or working at at Kroger, wherever, you are paid on your the value that you bring and the ability to replace you. And he felt like 6 years was fair for him. I just think with all the intangibles that he brings, or just athlete A brings, so winning championships is about the locker room as much as the continuity. Because what happens is when you have a bunch of great athletes that aren't directionally focused, you have chaos. And when you have chaos, it affects the other people around and the productivity of those other people. Freddie was in control. When you have great players in the NFL that are in control of the locker room, it allows productivity to rise. So they make those around them better. This is something that is overseen by people that are stylistic only, all right, and don't see the whole picture. They just see the wow factor of what is produced instead of what is consistently produced in an environment based on stability. All right, so it's the abstract, it's style versus substance, and there's nothing concrete about an athlete that is a great player, all right, but yet has other issues outside of that. That is completely abstract because it's not about the holistic player. That's why, again, these general managers, they know what they're doing. They have a right to every business decision. But I think when you get down to being serious about winning championships, then your McVays, okay, and your Belichick's, okay, your Jimmy Johnsons of the world, and we can go on and name, Tom Landry is a great example in his prime. Chuck Noll, the way that he and Terry Bradshaw interacted or didn't interact, that's important, Lenny. And
I agree.
And people have the right to criticize whoever they want. I just really hate that they feel like it's greed, because that's just I don't want to say ignorant, but that is. Because everybody has the right to believe what they believe, but it's just so. I just wish they would be able to look more into it.
Well, I don't think that you should make those type of decisions because you don't walk in those shoes.
Right.
Okay? If you want to say he's greedy, then you better start building a list because he's no different than the rest of the athletes that are out there. So don't single him out because you're a Braves fan and you're unhappy because the Braves didn't re-sign him or he didn't take a cut and pay and take the Braves deal. Why are you just as mad at the Braves because they didn't up the ante? The Dodgers didn't have any problem with it.
Yes, I am.
So the Dodgers had no problem with a 6-year, $160 million deal. So to me, it's a two-way street. Yeah. You can't single out one side or the other.
Absolutely.
And I think you knew, just like I did, Freddie would not be sitting around long. Freddie would be on somebody's roster within a couple of days after this was done. Yeah. So,
and we wish him all the best.
Absolutely.
And everybody's going to still follow him because he's such a good person.
Yeah.
And they just love him, and that's okay.
Milton, good morning. Richie said he always enjoyed seeing the AV cart being pulled into the classroom during tournament time. Richie also said Freddie wanted a 6-year deal. Braves would do no more than 5. And that's – both parties have their absolute right to do that. Milton said Carolina don't need a quarterback. They need a coaching staff with a plan to build a winning team. I'm thinking now that it's come all out. The best fit for Deshaun Watson is not Carolina. It's not the Saints. It's not the Browns. It is the Atlanta Falcons.
I think it's the Steelers.
I guess that's done.
I know, but I know with Trubisky.
Trubisky's already there.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I think when you break everything down – if Watson is somewhat clean, and you know what I mean, like I'm talking about from lawsuits and that kind, then and again being a Steelers fan, but I'm saying it's kind of like OBJ when we were talking about where would be a good fit. I felt like L.A. would be a good area for him. I'm just saying I just think that in that environment. That he could really thrive.
Yeah,
because they need a running quarterback right now because they don't have all the pieces. Wide receiver and run. I mean, they do offensive line, those kind of things. But Najee's great. The receiving core, is okay.
Yeah,
but anyway.
Richie said, if you're frustrated, don't be frustrated with Freddie, be frustrated with the organization. You got to look at both sides, guys. You got to look at both sides. Yeah. Mark said, Freddie has to look out for the long-term interest of his family. I will miss him in a Braves uniform, but I don't begrudge him one bit for leaving the Braves. He does hate us for the Dodgers, though. But
I understand that, too.
I mean, I remember when the Dodgers and Braves were in the same division.
Yeah, the AL West. I mean, the NL West. Atlanta's pretty far east.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Mark said, I gave up a lucrative modeling career for a career in IT.
Yes, he did. It was incredible.
Mandy said, how many people are employees because these professional athletes do what they do? How many people depend on them? Yeah. You can tell when the baseball organization started handing out money to the stadium people that were losing money because they weren't working. They understand the auxiliary people that it takes to put these things on.
And run a great
and want to take care
show.
Yeah,
and that's important.
Yeah. Andy Rules, I got to agree with you. Aaron Rodgers got 3 years, $150 million. The second year is the big one. It's $59 million is the second year.
Mm-hmm.
That's too much money. That's over – currently, that's almost a third of your payroll. That's what I look at is you still got to play other players.
When you look at amounts of money and say there's too much, nobody's worth this, that everybody has an opinion, that's fine. But again, the market will dictate and pay you what the value that they feel you bring, whether you agree with it or not, and the ability to replace you. There's no quarterback in the NFL that is consistent up until the last game that you can play before you go to the Super Bowl than Aaron Rodgers is.
Yeah. All right, let me take a break because when I come back, I got a point I want to argue with you on that, but I need to take a break. So we'll be back in just a minute.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com.
At Stifel Nicholas, we're committed to offering investors personalized investment guidance. We're a full-service organization with departments staffed with professionals that specialize in a wide range of investment opportunities, from the most conservative to the most aggressive. We strive to give each account, regardless of size, careful, individual attention. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC and the New York Stock Exchange. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. And welcome back. Now, the biggest question is, why was I mad before we went to break? We were talking about Aaron Rodgers and the money.
You said you had a point to argue.
I did. I had key word. What's the key word? What's the key word? Had. I don't know what happened to it. Anyway, Andrew said, if he's that valuable and that quick of a pickup for all other Major League Baseball teams, maybe the Braves missed the value. Only time will tell, Andrew.
Yeah, but it's a good point.
Yeah, that's exactly
it's a good
right.
Observation.
And anytime you cut players, let players go, don't re-sign players, you're rolling the dice that whoever comes in is going to be better than what you had.
You're hoping that's going to be the case.
That's correct.
Through your own expertise. But I got to tell you, there's a lot of emotion that goes into these decisions, obviously by the fans, because they are so heavily invested with their time and even their pocketbooks watching the Braves and following them. And the general managers are not. They're kind of like the Billy Beans of the world. They just talk about business and business only. And sometimes, what may be good for business is not good for the fans, kind of like the Panthers, for example. They've turned that stadium, if you've looked at it, into a soccer stadium. Well, that's fine. You can play soccer in a football stadium, but your focus is your reality. And, in this case, Atlanta fans – everybody's going to get over the fact that Freddie was not their focus. So therefore, that's the reality's gone, just like at Carolina.
And they've got a plan. Yeah. They've got a plan, and they don't have to share that with us. We don't have to know what that plan is.
They better do something soon.
Mark Alton brought up the fact that the Braves and Dodgers used to be in the NL West. I remember staying at the Holiday Inn that looked down on the airport outside of Atlanta in Hartsville. The Dodgers had their own team jet complete with the logo on the tail. Yeah. They were a first-class operation back then as they are today, and I despise them for it, especially since they're back in the days of the Braves being a bunch of lovable and eccentric losers. Morning, Steve Lowe. I can tell you when I was traveling with Appalachian, we flew into Memphis at the FedEx Field to play.
Was it a regular game or bowl game?
No, this was a regular. We were playing Arkansas, and I can't think of the team that was up in Arkansas that we were playing. Anyway, that's where you flew into, and we parked right beside of the Detroit Pistons. They had a private plane with it on the tail. So, yeah. I know what that is with the pros. Richie said, I think Freddie was a focus. The problem was the focus was on a different long-term solution. And I think it was. They got close, and look, everybody's got to make the decisions. Now, let me go back to my Aaron Rodgers point, and I'm not picking on Aaron.
Okay.
The problem that I have when you said that the market will dictate what you'll pay.
Yeah.
The NFL doesn't do that. And I'll tell you why, because regardless of who the quarterback is, if that's the only quarterback you've got for that team and you have no other options and his contract comes up, the term that's thrown around today is you got to pay me. I want more than the last guy. I'm the next man up because they want to keep those salaries accelerating. Now, they don't always do that, and they're going to get into a situation this year where the Browns are going to have to make that decision with Baker Mayfield because he's at the end of his contract.
He's done.
But you know what I'm saying?
But
everybody does that. It's I'm next man up in any position, not just quarterback, but any position, and you got to pay me.
But that's what the market dictates. That's what I'm saying.
Fear dictates that. They're afraid to let him go.
That's the
like the Braves. The Braves let Freddie go instead of saying, we probably need to do this because bad things could happen. But they made a business decision.
I think I understand where you're saying. What I'm saying is, regardless of of what the environment is, whether it be physical, mental, emotional, whatever, the market will dictate what your true worth is. Because if you get paid that, now we may not say he's worth that. But that's what the market says. It's kind of like South Carolina in high school football. They go out and they pay their high school football because they pay their assistants very well.
Yep.
In North Carolina, it's not a priority. They think they can just get anybody to do it, and they've shown that that's very true by the lack of quality statewide of high school football. When you look in South Carolina, the market will dictate the quality they're looking for, and it is reflected in the football that they play. I mean,
Texas is another one.
Great example. Georgia, yes, absolutely, great example.
I mean, there's a lot of states around there.
But again, it all comes back to the thing of knowing your market area, and what that market itself will pay you for your expertise. You don't get paid for your time in South Carolina for football. You get paid for your ability to put a winner out there. That's called production. Every other place is based on time. And then what happens is when you're young, if you go and coach in North Carolina and you put everything you've got into it and don't worry about how you're going to get paid or the amount that you do, because like you said, sometimes a short-term investment will yield a long-term result. So when I left, this area and went to the mountains, I was able to negotiate in certain parts of North Carolina my coaching supplements.
But when you make those short-term decisions, you still basing it on long-term goals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's the investment, that you're putting into the quality that you're trying to produce, along with the repetitions of doing things wrong to get them right for down the road, so you become more efficient.
Yeah.
And the more efficient you are, Aaron Rodgers is extremely efficient, and that's what separates him from pretty much everybody else.
Yeah, but he can't win the big. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, it's not him.
Yeah.
It's not. His special teams suck.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when you don't have an owner and a GM, and you've made very good points about that, but they are who they are.
Juju says the NFL salary cap is going up $25 to $30 million in each of the next 2 years.
He's right. It's inflationary.
Richie said it's hard to find the quarterback that leads the team to the promised land than it is to find you a first baseman or other position to lead that team. That is correct. Todd, I'm going to come back to yours in just a minute.
Oh, God. That's good.
Juju answered Andy Rolls and said Green Bay couldn't have done that deal nor have kept Rodgers or even stayed in the NFL if it were not for the salary cap, because the big market teams would have spent them out.
Them up. Yeah, that's right.
Andrew said also these players and agents have gotten very good at selling their value or worth.
Absolutely.
I'm going to borrow a phrase from somebody, and I'm going to rephrase that a little bit, Andrew. Sometimes I think these agents have got good at selling style versus substance.
Thank you, Lanny Ford.
You like that?
Yes.
But he's going to get paid.
Yes.
Now, go back. Let me go back to Todd.
Yeah.
Todd said, don't know the first thing about the Freddie situation, but Babe Ruth had the best quote on what he was worth, if he was worth more than the president. Here's the quote. The writers came up to Babe, who had just got a new contract, and said, just what I've been getting for the last 2 seasons, explained Ruth, with what he thought was a great show of patience, $80,000 a year.
Yeah, man.
Okay? $80,000 a year in these times, said one of the writers. Don't be silly, Babe. Why, that's more than Hoover gets for being president. Babe said, what the hell's Hoover got to do with it? Anyway, I had a better year than he did.
Well,
only the hot dog eating machine. And I'm not talking about Bull. I'm talking about Babe Ruth.
He's going to be Sunday night.
Yes, he is. He's the Bull. So, great quote there. Thank you. I had never heard that, Todd. Thank you. I had to look that up.
Had a better year than he did.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
And he said that I can't believe Rodgers does State Farm for $3 million.
Oh, great point.
Yeah.
Great point.
And
he has a good time doing it.
Huh?
You can tell he has a good time.
Yeah.
doing
I mean, that $150 million doesn't count endorsements and what you may get from endorsement deals.
Yeah.
Now, that's one thing about baseballers. I don't think they accept the really, really huge stars. Mm-hmm. Not that Freddie's not a huge star, but he's not going to get those endorsement
not the national
type.
ones.
Yeah.
The local ones,
yeah.
they just eat alive, right? But not the national ones. Not like that.
Yeah. Mark, have a great day, sir. He's got to go out and get busy. We should be here in the morning. And so you are more than welcome to stop by. Don't know that there'll be a show because I've got a guy coming to work on my embroidery machine. I'm not sure what time he's coming, but I'll be here. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.
It's not rising tomorrow.
It's not rising tomorrow.
No, you're good.
Okay, that's
and
good.
The Lord is willing to make it.
And going back to your Rutgers and Notre Dame, Dame won in double overtime.
Yeah, it's a great game, and it was just a last second. It was like that the last 4 minutes of the game. Or the regular, part of the game, and then overtime it was back and forth. I mean, hitting threes from like 30 feet, it was crazy. And Ron Harper Jr.'s son, holy cow, dude, he's different. Wow.
Now let me give you this one.
Great player.
Talking about betting.
Yeah,
we're talking about betting in sports. Where's the integrity? What about the game? Okay, let me move on. Money, according to David Purdom. Money has been pouring in on Duke at sports books around the nation.
They've built it up.
One wager that would pay more than $5 million
right.
if the Blue Devils win the national championship.
Right, and this is and I will tell you that it's been very suspicious to me. All right, that when I watch the Joe Lunardis and all the guys talk about, and even Jimmy Boeheim, why, Duke's just young, they've got freshmen, it is what it is. They are really downplaying Duke, okay? And I don't know, and I'm not accusing anybody of anything wrong, but it just seems very suspicious to me that a team that did as well as they did in the regular season, in the conference they did it in, all of a sudden is supposed to lose in the second round. Now, if you don't think that money has something to do with these comments, I don't know.
Bill Bender was on yesterday. He's got Duke in the Final Four. He's got Duke, Kentucky, Arizona, and I cannot remember the last one.
Gonzaga.
No, he's got Gonzaga getting beat.
Whoa!
But he's got Kentucky beating Duke in the semis and then winning the national championship.
Sure, and
but here's
Arizona, maybe.
Arizona's one of them. Yeah. A bettor in New Jersey placed $300,000 on Duke to win it all with FanDuel with 17-1 odds. Yeah. If Duke wins, the bet would pay a net like $5.1 million.
How much?
$5.1 million. $5.1 million. In addition, the three largest national championship bets at Sportsbook PointsBet are Blue Devils, and at Caesar Sportsbook, more bets have been placed on Duke to win the tournament than have been placed on any other team. Krzyzewski, who said he will retire for the season, is making his 36th appearance in the NCAA tournament, the most of all time. If I'm not mistaken, 42 years. Does that sound right? So 36 out of 42 years he's been in the tournament, and that's back when it was hard to get in the tournament.
Yeah, and the thing that all the pundits are talking about is Duke's players. The X factor is Krzyzewski. Remember when he did that commercial?
Mm-hmm.
I am Coach. Hey, you're Coach Krzyzewski. Yes, I am. But the point is Lanny, it's as much about the coach as it is the players when you get into the tournament. And I'm talking about after the second round. Well, I mean the first round and second round, but
this is the first round.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying.
Forget that other mess.
Right, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I think Bill, to his point, is looking at the whole picture.
Kansas was the other.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bill's looking at the whole picture because of the Coach K factor as much as he is worried about the players. He can manipulate a game, an individual game, like nobody else can. And we all know that it's not about, how you play the entire time in the tournament. It's about how you play each individual game.
Bill's Final Four was Duke, Kentucky, with Kentucky winning that one. On the other side was Arizona and Kansas, with Arizona winning that one, and then Kentucky over Arizona.
So he's not a Zag. He doesn't believe in –
Yeah, but he's got the Zags getting beat.
That's what I'm saying. He just doesn't believe they can do it. I got to tell you, I'm not so sure they don't win it.
The Zags?
Yes.
He's got them getting beat. Here's the surprise part. He's got them getting beat by Arkansas.
That's a stretch.
And then Duke beating Arkansas.
That's a good. I mean, if you're going to pick an upset game, that's a good one. But I will tell you that based on Mark, what's basketball coach at Gonzaga, Mark.
I can't remember.
But anyway, his ability to manipulate games is very good. They just haven't won the big one. So. Yeah, it's very
attaboy, Andrew. Way to be a diehard fan there, buddy. After the last 2 weeks, I would risk my bologna sandwich on Duke. You're a fair weather fan, Andrew.
Oh God, and so it begins.
That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying. Andrew says Arkansas loses to Vermont in round one. Gosh. Go out there on a limb, Andrew. I love it.
That bologna sandwich.
Yeah, put that bologna sandwich out there. I like that. Richie, I hate to break it to you, buddy, but if the Tar Heels can win today, they're done Saturday. Baylor will maul them. That's me.
Laney, I can see that, but then also, to their credit, and how much better they've gotten because they've improved.
But the problem is you don't know which team's going to show up.
They're
not consistent.
I completely agree, and that's what I'm talking about. With each game is in its own. Now, how does Hubert in year one factor into?
You mean
that?
Bill Guthridge too?
I like him.
I didn't say I didn't like him. Everybody liked Grandpa Bill, but
I like Bill too. He was. Let me tell you something, man. You listen to that guy before he became the head coach at Carolina. Of course, he was there for a long, like 30 years or whatever. But there was nobody more ready to take a job or prepared than Bill Guthridge with all the time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he was just there, and he watched the Carolina process. But anyway,
yeah.
But I think he's good for, I think Hubert Davis is good for college basketball. I think he's good, for young people because he was an above average player in high school at best, and had the opportunity based on lineage to fulfill his full potential in life.
I had this argument last night with my daughter, who is a Carolina grad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thanks, Andrew. We need a STG bracket contest. I think we did that last year, but I didn't even think about it this time. Richie said, I don't know. Baylor's lost their post player for the rest of the year. Their point guard's out for the first weekend. Carolina goes the way Caleb Love goes, and when Love had scored 2 points and had 5 assists, Carolina 17-0. I think you meant 20 points. I hope
he
you
did.
meant 20
Well,
points.
it's an autocorrect on that.
Yeah, let's make it 20 points.
But Baycott is such a great player now. He's developed
just
such a
not
great
consistent.
Right, but I think with I couldn't remember which player it was, but I think with Baylor's post guy, like he's talking about going down, that it opens up a major can of worms for them against if the right Carolina team shows up, then
correct.
They're on to the third round.
And then the discussion, and Richie, I'll be glad to have this discussion with you as well. The problem with Carolina is they can't get out of their own way because they don't feel like there's a decent coach out there that could coach a Carolina team if he didn't come through the Carolina pedigree. Well, that is just like the DNA starts to get weak after the West Virginia, backwoods type thing. And I just think at some point you've got to get out of your way and say, I want the best coach that's on the market, and I don't care where he played or if he played. I want the coach that can fulfill what we need to do. Let me take a break. We'll be back.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com. At Stifel Nicholas, we're committed to offering investors personalized investment guidance. We're a full-service organization with departments staffed with professionals that specialize in a wide range of investment opportunities, from the most conservative to the most aggressive. We strive to give each account, regardless of size, careful, individual attention. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC and the New York Stock Exchange. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times.
Back at you. Go just a few more minutes, and then I've got to get out of here. I got to go to Statesville and plug up a TV or something. I don't know what's on my schedule for today. That's the way that works, just in case you're wondering. Yep, and happy birthday to the big boy. I guess he's up this morning. Good morning, Sissy Lee. Go Heels. Woo, yeah. And Richie said, yeah, that was 20, not 2. And I'm glad we got that cleared up, Richie. I have got to turn off that other. Oh, gosh. It's just a haphazard day today, I guess. I can't get anything going exactly right, but pardon me while I take care of some things. There we go. So, we get underway. What would you say is the number one upset possibility for today?
Let's pull the bracket.
Okay. Oh, let me switch back over here to the other screen.
Yeah, the thing is, are there any 16s, or are there any ones in danger of the 16s?
What's the biggest one? Is it 12 and 5?
Yeah.
That's where you have the majority of your upsets?
Yeah. But, normally we say, well, the 16s and the 1s, there's not not a lot going on with that as far as is that possible that, they could lose.
Mm-hmm.
The 1 and 8 is much, is just as big as the 5 and 12 in some years.
There we go. Click and enlarge. All right. So let's see. Your 1s and 16s is Arizona, Wright State, Gonzaga, Georgia State,
Right.
Kentucky, St. Peter's, and Kansas, Texas Southern.
Watch for that one. I think Kansas obviously will win, but watch for that one.
Okay.
Because the kids at Texas Southern are like really fast. Yeah.
Let's go to the 5-12.
Okay.
Okay. In the Midwest, that's Iowa and Richmond. Richmond won the A-10, beat Davidson in the very end.
Iowa's going to the Final Four. Go ahead.
Houston, UAB. Houston's a 5, UAB's a 12.
Houston's way overrated.
Okay.
And now, watch them go to the Final Four, but I think they're overrated. I think they could get beat today.
In the West, it's UConn at 5, New Mexico State at 12.
Yeah, watch that one.
And then the other one is St. Mary's at 6 and Indiana at 12 in the East.
Yeah. So that's, I don't know if you call that an upset, but I guess based on the rankings you would. But, a lot of these teams get the automatic qualifiers because, and that's fine. It makes things exciting. But it still doesn't get the best teams in college basketball.
Andrew says Houston's definitely underrated, and Richie said he thinks the
overrated. Yeah.
Thinks the 7 through 12 seeds are so close this year it makes it harder to pick those games.
Richie's right. I mean, and I think that's one of the things that, anyway.
Lindsay said hello. She also said Governor Cooper's wife chose NC State to win it all.
So can we move on to the next one? I'm not even going to.
Let's see. Rich said, I'm not going to disagree with you. I think Hubert did a good job, though. The knock on him this year was the blowout losses and the unexplainable loss to Pitt. too much to cover type this in. Well, let's just say Richie thinks that Texas is overrated.
Good point.
Does Rick Barnes in Tennessee surprise anybody?
I think so because of the step that they've taken to actually win the tournament. You know, a lot of people are down on Barnes. Not down, but they're saying his NCAA record is not good based on many factors, obviously. But Rick Barnes has so much experience and has been there so many times that it's not a stretch to say that they have the ability to run. Just like I think Iowa is a potential, Final Four team.
Bill had Tennessee in the third round beating Ohio State.
That's fair.
And then losing to Arizona.
That's fair.
Absolutely.
Arizona's very good. Yeah, but that's fair.
The other, I'm looking to see, of course, LSU. A lot of folks think they may get beat today or Friday whenever they play because they don't have a coach. Does Miami surprise anybody? They're a 10. They play Southern Cal, and then they'll have to go through Auburn in the second round.
Jekyll and Hyde, and they are if they're depending on who they are, those first two games could dictate whether or not they get a shot at the Sweet 16 Final Four. I mean, they're athletic, and now there's no question. Landon, you're right about bringing that up. They are athletic enough.
They got a coach that knows how it works.
Yeah, boy,
Jim Larinaga.
Oh man,
and then your ACC champion, Virginia Tech. Bill's got them getting beat by Texas in the first round.
Yeah.
So that one could be kind of interesting.
What's interesting,
well.
and you obviously player coach, this kind of thing, but and everybody that listens and watches, it's so interesting about matchups. You can look at one team and say, God, they're so much better than these guys, but they have the hardest time with them. And then they'll go play another team that's just as athletic and blow them out by 30, or more just athletic as they are, and they go blow them out by 30. But yet this team is real scrappy and does everything fundamentally sound like your Villanovas of the past, like when they beat Carolina and some other. You know what I'm talking about? It's just it's very interesting how you struggle with certain matchups.
Well, and I think a lot of that has to do, especially in the tournament. I think it has to do with the number of veteran players that you have. That's why the young teams, even though if they're full of one and done and NBA talent, they don't do well in the tournament because they have not had that time to gel. And it's about, the continuity from year to year. It's about knowing who's playing beside of you and what you can expect. And that's why it's so hard to look at it straight. That's a good-looking team getting off the bus. Well, they may be, Michigan. But you don't know what's inside. That's the hard part.
I've got a question for you. It's not trivia, but it's just an opinion question. And for our
I've had an opinion before.
Wonderful listeners, did the Fab Five never win a national championship because they weren't good enough, or they just weren't mature enough? They were so young, even in year two, and they couldn't. There were some things, what is it with them?
Too many individual egos.
Okay.
Basketball, from a team standpoint, because you only got five, really got to have a lot of cohesiveness with those five.
They say that.
And the other problem is, all these guys were such – you can't put five top players on a team together. Somebody's got to be role players. Well, and because then you get in each other's way. That's what happens to some of these NBA teams when they start building these rosters, and we want three megastars on here. You've got players that don't know how to be role players. They don't know how to be team players. They just know how to be them as a player, and I think that's what happened.
Yeah, and the other thing too, and I think you're 100% right. To piggyback on that, I think the two guys on that team that were supposed to be, just kind of settle in that role position, were Ray Jackson, and Juwan Howard, and not utilizing those more allowed defenses to concentrate on the other three, to your point, which I think ended up messing them up. I mean, if they would have utilized Howard and Jackson more and looked at the long-term approach and built the team around the team process and not the individual player, especially with Weber and Rose. Now, there's no doubt how good either one of those were. They were incredible.
But were they team players?
And that I don't think that they weren't. I think the system was designed for them to be the exclusive player instead of allowing them to be the holistic player. No, I'm just throwing another way to look at it. Because I don't think that their coach. I don't think he's very, very good at what he is Steve Fisher, right? I just when you look back on hindsight, this, that, and the other. I really think that's what kept them in the long run from winning, one or two.
I'll give you an NFL an NFL analogy here. Richie said the Fab Five was the greatest thing to never win anything other than a fashion show.
Yeah.
And Richie, this is a great line. You can have the best team or the 5 best players. I'll take the best team.
Right.
And that's kind of what it was with them.
But they had a deep bench because of the guys like Palenka and those guys.
I understand.
You know what I'm saying, Lenny?
But they still didn't. They didn't have the opportunity to play together.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work. And people used to criticize even Rick Barnes early in his career and Dean Smith and some of the other great coaches that, have been in college basketball about making everything a team game and how he's the only coach to ever hold Jordan under 20 and things. But he was looking at the overall developmental process of the player, right? And I'm not so sure that that's not more beneficial when you're trying to win championships.
Yep.
Yeah, in the long run.
Let me give you this analogy, going back to what you said about Michigan. You have that situation sometimes like when OBJ was in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Everybody said Baker felt so uncomfortable because he felt like there was pressure to try to get him the ball because he's calling. You know what I'm saying? So the ego, individual thing. Every time you go to huddle, dude, I'm open. I'm open. Yeah, everybody's always open. But you know what I'm saying? You got those ego things going on and can't be a role player and do whatever has to be done. I want my catches. I want my touches. I got
to get mine.
I got to get mine, and I think that that's the thing that hurt Michigan.
Your focus is the reality.
Well, I told you this last night, sis. I'll take the league versus Brady.
Oh, I'm Brady all the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you, but I'll take the league.
Yeah.
I'll take the league on that one.
He's the best player in the NFL.
I didn't say he wasn't. I just don't think Tampa Bay can win another.
I think they know what they got to do now to get past. The standard has been set between Green Bay and McVay.
What does it do if Deshaun Watson comes into the South? Like with an Atlanta?
Nothing in year one.
Okay.
And I mean, obviously it makes him better instantly, but it doesn't make him great because I think – golly, I'm going to go out on a limb, and it's going to be horrible.
Step out there. It's a big limb.
I really like him, but I think he's overrated.
Who?
Watson. I do. I'm sorry.
We hadn't seen him in a year, so we don't know.
Yeah, a couple of years. I just think he's overrated. Yeah, I just do.
I want to see him with a coach that knows what he's doing because I didn't have a whole lot of faith in Bill O'Brien.
It's a great point.
Okay.
Maybe he's not.
I've always said that about players. You can't
like
evaluate players unless you really work through the organization and the rest of the roster and the coaching staff because all of that does have an effect, especially in football.
You're right.
Especially in football.
You're right.
All right, Statesville's calling my name. I got to go. Have a great day. Maybe a show tomorrow. May not be a show. Just depends. I got to get some work done on my machine. Have a great day, everybody. Don't forget, Tar Heels on WLON this afternoon, 3:30.